Hi, we're Bonnie and Greg Dixon for Storyvan TV, and today we have Nate Hallums here to talk about employee
It's employee retention
employee
tax credit.
employee.
And what caught my eye about Nate was his amazing countenance and gentle nature. And when he started telling me what he does in the US, I know this program goes out to US, Canada, and around the world, but for the US, businesses were hit hard. They were hit hard all through the COVID time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what we were really curious, Nate, you found this to help, small businesses. And can you tell us how it came about, this program?
Yeah. Well, there are all kinds of different government programs out there to help everyone, whether it was the unemployment deal or there's a number of different programs there. But this is for small businesses. The true American heroes are the ones that are running the mom and pop shops, trying to support their family and support a lot of the employment in various regions. So the initial program came out in March of 2020, and it was under the CARES Act. And the first program that was put out and was the most popular was the PPP loans. So everybody rushed the doors on the PPP loans, and lo and behold, that ran out of money relatively quickly. And people that thought they would qualify, and there were two loans actually that thought they would be able to get a second loan, but they couldn't because they didn't qualify. And so businesses were obviously still struggling. You had open the door, shut the door, open the door, shut the door, go eat, don't go eat. And so all that was going on, and businesses are still, what do we do? How do we try to use our capital in the best way possible? How do we try to keep our employees? So the second piece of the program, so this is a sister program to the PPP loans, and it's called the ERTC, the Employee Retention Tax Credit. So ERTC, it's actually a credit, not a loan, and it is money that employer has already paid to the government. And a lot of people looked at it initially because if you got the PPP loan, the initial structure was you were not eligible for this tax credit. So, and it's not an easy process to go through. It's kind of a root canal experience for the accountants. So they said, no, just go get the loan, because you can get that deferred. I mean, you can get that forgiven. And so just do that, keep your records, and we'll get the money forgiven. So it'll be just like a grant for you. Roughly 3 or 4 months into the program, they said, we're changing our minds. Everybody who got the PPP loan is still eligible for the ERTC. So that was kind of new news, and it didn't actually get spread around very well. So there are a lot of CPAs and obviously business owners that don't know about this. And when I talked to you, you'd never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of money there, and it's unlike some of the loans that were smaller. Our average award or rebate back to the business owner is about $150,000. So substantial money, good shot in the arm. It's you're eligible if you have W-2s. I mean, that's basically.
So that's one of the requirements, is a W-2, and then. What do they do with the money then? Like, do you guide them, or does someone guide them on what uses?
Well, interesting question. There are no requirements, so you don't have to report back. You don't have to pay it back. It's not a loan. It's a credit. It goes to the business owner, and every individual tax number that they own a business under will get their own credit back. And you can go buy a Ferrari. You can give your employees a raise. Whatever it is you'd like to do. An interesting thing that came up with one of the nonprofits that I work with, I used to do planning for people, plan giving. And so what we are going to structure with them is a donor trust. And so they're going to get back roughly $250,000, relatively modest nonprofit that they serve abused women. And so rather than just put it into one of their programs, which would do a lot of good, we're going to put it into a trust, at least most of it, and have that act as one, a matching opportunity for other larger donors. And a lot of times corporate donors can't be the initial donor, but they can do matching dollars. So that we hope will multiply those dollars pretty dramatically.
Mhm.
And if it's in a trust that has guidelines on the trust in terms of how that money is spent, then a lot of times people feel better about that too. So it's good for nonprofits, it's good for churches, it's good for regular businesses, anybody who has a W-2 or W-2 employees, in other
That's
words.
pretty fascinating. And how many employees would a business have to have or not have?
Yeah, well, you can have just one and apply for it. There's up to $26,000 available per employee. And so if they're not the owners, so the owners are restricted, they're not counted, even though they might be paying themselves on payroll. So the owners and their immediate family are not counted, but any other employees would be counted starting at the first one. We economically can't serve businesses below 5. So it doesn't actually, we're probably losing money at 5, but we wanted to try to serve as small a business as we possibly could. And so we go down to 5 employees anytime during 2020 or 2021. If you had 5 employees, you didn't have to have them all the way through any quarter in that 7 quarters, basically 7 quarters that they count. First quarter of 2020 all the way through the third quarter of 2021. So anytime during that period, if you had 5 non-principal employees, we will get you through the process and get the money back to you. You know, lay it out for you. Our process is that we will give you a number that you can count on without charging you, and then at that point you decide whether or not you want to go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous. What if a business didn't even lose money?
Well, and we've had a lot of that situation, you know, and restaurants in particular. Some of them had banner years because there was so much takeout. People wanted to do something that was outside the home, and so they would do takeout or curbside pickup or whatever it would be. And so the way the metrics works is it's like each component of the business actually is kind of a profit center. So the way we would attack that is how much money did you lose on your in-house dining? So there are different elements of the business. And if you were, so there's kind of a binary piece that says, if you were shut down for any reason, or you had to change the way you did your business, do your business for any reason, by a legislative act, the city, the county, the state, the federal government, whatever, if someone decreed that you had to change the way you did your business, then you automatically qualify. So that's why 95+% of our applicants actually are getting money back.
Mm-hmm.
But every single restaurant, every single gym, every single hospitality, spa, all of those places that did have shutdowns or they didn't allow people in are, it's 100% of those folks, even if they got the loans and they had banner years. All those things could have worked in their favor and they would still qualify and still get money back.
That's pretty incredible. So why isn't everybody doing it then? Is it just because they haven't heard about it?
Great
That's why we're
question.
doing this.
yeah, exactly. Well, the word is just not out. I mean, we're finding you could have conversations yourself. I mean, just ask anybody, do they know anything about the ERTC? They'll know about the PPP loans, whether they got one or not, because their brother-in-law got one or Uncle Bob got one, whatever it was. But the ERTC is still this kind of unknown bonus out there that people don't know. And so that's, that we're kind of evangelizing the whole information pipeline to get that information out. We started out as kind of a onesie twosie operation back almost a year ago now. And we saw that there was a real opportunity to help, like I said, the real heroes of the American economy and people that were struggling to do the right thing, keep their employees on. Here's a way that big businesses always get what's coming to them. They've got full-time staff that are doing all that, watching everything, and they are creating it. They're going to the government saying, hey, I'll do this if you do that. So there's subsidies and tax credits and all that stuff that happens for big businesses. But this is a small business opportunity that really needs to be taken advantage of.
Yes, it's not a bad thing if the money's been allocated. Might as well go ahead and use it because you can use it for good in your business as well.
Right. Well, I mean, there could be, a Dixon account sitting there. If you guys owned a little shop or something like that, the money's sitting there with your name on it. You just have to claim it. All we're doing for you, I mean, it's complicated, but the simplified version of the process is we're just claiming your money and getting it back to you. So just like you do your taxes every year and you get a refund, these are specific items that we have to go through and make sure that we can defend that. It's all documented properly, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, we're getting your money back that the government says they owe you. We're just telling them that they do.
Well, could a person use their own bookkeeper or tax accountant to do the same thing?
They could. Those people typically don't do this work. The bookkeeper in particular will likely have the information that we need. It's all payroll stuff. So most CPAs don't do payroll. Most bookkeepers don't do payroll. They're kind of on the tax and financial statements and kind of cash flow and all that sort of thing. And this is a specialized process. This is all we do. So we don't do taxes. We don't do all the other things that they do. And so we focus on just this process. We have 3 different CPA firms as kind of our back office, I'll call it, that they do all of the work independently, and then they meet and say, did we come up with the same answer? And if they don't, they go back to the boardroom and figure out where the difference is and how they come up with it. So that when we give you a number, it's been through the ringer, it's a very precise number, and that you've got all the documentation to back all that up. So like I said, it could I have actually had bookkeepers and business managers refer me business because, like I said, that they do not want to go through the root canal themselves, learn something one time that they're never going to do again. And so they'd rather add value to their own clients and know that they're bringing value because of the quality of our process, and just turn it over to somebody who's specializing.
So one of the reasons to hire your firm is that you know your stuff on this particular issue, and it's kind of a one-off sort of a thing that we're going to all pray never happens again.
Right.
And is there a time limit that's going on right now? Is there any timing to this?
Great question. It's we're basically amending tax returns. And so the rules are that you can look back 3 years and amend your tax return. So if you wanted to include both 2020 and 2021, then you have until the end of 2023 to actually get that done. End of 2024 to actually get that done. So the tax year, you're reporting the next year, so April of 24. And if you just wanted to, include whatever you could in 2021, then you actually have until April 15th of 2025. So it's a 3-year look back, and it's the counting of it and the qualifying and all that stuff ended. So this is kind of another myth that's out there. And accountants are telling their clients, you don't qualify, that's over with as of the end of the 3rd quarter of 2021. Well, there's no more credit that can be gained after that period. That's the measurement period. But the look back period, the refund period, continues on for 3 years out. So
got it. So back to the amending, it would be an amended tax return.
Right.
So it would pay off handsomely if that were to come true for them, that they would have some monies back to doing good for their either business or, I love that idea for that nonprofit of having a little corner, a little nest egg, and as you will, for any futures or investing in their business.
Or matching donors.
Matching. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So to do matching donors, we think it's going to be really just, they're going to have a couple $1 million out of a $200,000 rebate that comes back to them. So with a business, I mean, here's the other piece that one kind of differentiates our firm a little bit is that the IRS right now is taking about 9 to 12 months to get the money back. So we have a rapid rebate. We haven't figured out what to call it yet, but H&R Block has rapid refunds, so we can't use that. So we're calling it a rapid rebate. We actually have a financial partner that will give you your money now, and so you don't have to, and they'll wait for the IRS to make the payment. And then
Wow.
that way, yeah, you can now turn that money around. And most people that are in business are making, 50 to 100% on their money that they're, putting into their employees or into the food that they're serving you or whatever it might be. So yeah, the quicker you can get that money back and turn it around and put it in the business, the better off you are.
That
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
great.
That makes sense. So, Nate, if somebody wants to get to know you a little bit more or get started, what should they do next?
Well, so here's a great resource on just understanding what we just talked about. So if you've never heard of this, this is all fire hose, information that's all acronyms and you don't really understand it. You can go to my website. The website, I think we've got it scrolling here, employeetaxcredits.net, employeetaxcredits.net. We also have, we're posting daily new information on our Facebook page. So again, same sort of a deal, employee tax credits on Facebook. And and I'm always glad to take a call. People are, like I said, I'm talking to people every single day and including their accountants, including their bookkeepers and business managers to make sure they have the right information. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but a lot of, we're not obviously the only firm that's out there doing this. And so what we have done is to make it easy to work with us and make it easy for someone to find out if they're going to actually receive any money is they can go through the whole process with us. We'll come out the end of the process and say, Bonnie Dixon, you're going to get $192,000 back. We know that with certainty. Do you want to proceed? And so no charge up to that point, whereas other firms are charging $5,000 or $10,000 just to even do that work.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're confident enough in our work. We're confident enough that you're going to be excited at the end of that process that you're going to have this kind of money coming back to you. And like I say, it's rarely small amounts of money. So it's up to $26,000 per employee on average. I've never seen anything that high when we actually get done with all the calculations. But on average, we're somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 an employee. So I'm working with a church right now that has 150 employees, and so they could receive back over $1 million, and have all of that. Yeah, and churches, we're impacted. Churches, synagogues, mosques were all impacted pretty dramatically. Not only did they have to close, so automatically they qualify, but a lot of their giving, like a nonprofit, is from gifts, is from tithes or whatever, and so they got hit pretty hard. If everybody else got hit pretty hard, they got hit hard as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I want to have some fun with you here. We really appreciate learning, number one, about this program, because I hope everyone listening can think of someone that they can share this information with. There's no harm in finding out what your options are and what you might qualify for, number one.
At no
So we
charge.
thank you for that, Nate. But I just have to tease you. Backyard Fishing Agency, a digital marketing company.
Right.
So you have the cutest thing. So can you just give us a quick snip about that too? It's just so cute.
Yeah. Well, where the name came from was my grandfather. And we used to fish on the river. There was a river about 2 blocks from his house, and he would take my cousin and I over there, and we'd fish. And his lesson, he always had these life lessons, right? So one of his lessons was make sure you catch all the fish in your own backyard before you go hunting in somebody else's pool or pond. So yeah. So it's obviously less expensive, and that's really my business is. Even for my main clients are home services clients, but we've got restaurants. We've got this ERTC has opened up avenues and conversations that I might not have otherwise had, and so almost every client that I've had the capacity to bring on that we kind of mesh with the ERTC has become a backyard fishing client. So what we do is we do social media posting. That's one of the things that we believe is really a big factor for companies kind of getting their digital footprint. So I guess I'll kind of back up a little bit. We're kind of digital real estate managers and developers. And so your social media platforms are all pieces of your digital real estate, and they should be well managed, well groomed, well manicured, and very active. And so all of the different platforms and engines that are out there want to see activity. That's one of the things that draws more and more eyes to your particular brand or page. The other thing that we do is we either help you develop, if you don't already have it, your reputation. And so because consumers are there's a whole lot of choices. It's confusing a lot of times. And one of the filters, whether consciously or subconsciously, people have is what your reputation is. So if we can help you build a 5-star reputation, and then we help you market that using that same social media platform, that starts to turn into orders. And so when you look at it like that, now we're looking at we're building a following, and then your website, we will get your website ranked, and we actually, because Google ranks pages, not websites, and so we actually will take your services and develop pages that promote your individual services, and those services, those keywords will be on page 1, and we guarantee that will happen within 45 days, not 6 months, not a year, like a lot of the services are out there, or you don't pay for it. So I'm really all about kind of return on investment. And so we've structured the ERTC in that way. I try to structure the digital marketing services in that way. And then the last piece, if I touch you or you touch me any place on the net, there's a digital footprint that you can leave and I can capture. And so, and a lot of times, people say they don't want Big Brother in their lives, but they do want to see the stuff they want to see. And so if they've shown that to us time and time again, then we want to be top of mind. If we're promoting the Dixon brand or promoting Bob's HVAC, whatever it is, we want to be top of mind when somebody's making a decision about that particular service. And so that comes down to traffic. And so I can take whatever experience you've had online and help put the things that you've already looked for back in front of you with my clients rather than somebody else's clients, so that we can have an opportunity at winning your business.
So what I'm hearing you say is, if you're a small business, particularly with 5 or more employees, Nate is your best friend here, because not only can he possibly find you some money that you may not know that you were even qualifying for, but he can help you with your business in other ways. So it's always good to have good people on your side. And I believe, Nate, that you're a great guy. I really connected with you right away. And your services are, I'm sure, helping so many people. And we are so blessed to have you today on StoryVan TV. And so for everyone listening, not only listen to this interview, but share it with another business friend, so that we can roll this out and help many, many small businesses who are the backbone of America.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the time and the ability to tell our story. I just want to say that, if people are wondering where we fit in the kind of the hierarchy of the spectrum of people doing this service, we've done close to $1 billion in rebates. We've helped almost 5,000 businesses. So we've got some experience. We've seen everything there is to see. And so whatever issues you might have, they're not unique. They might feel unique to you, but we can work our way through it. And you get a white glove treatment all the way through. And so if you can't find stuff, we'll help you find it. We'll help you get the process done.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you so much. And again, we appreciate you here on StoryVan TV, and look forward to maybe another interview, and we can delve a little deeper on those other services that you're working with.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Bonnie and Greg.
Thank you very much.
Keep the road running.
Yeah.
All right.